Benvenuti, everyone. I want to share with you some of the slices of life that I experience here just on a rando day-to-day basis. Things that I sometimes forget because I've been here for a while, and I forget that the things that I'm experiencing here that are starting to just feel normal are actually very unusual or would not happen in the United States, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where I live. So let's get started. People dress up to go out. No one just kind of takes a shower and says, oh, I'm ready to go outside. That just is not happening here. And so for me, I've decided to adopt that way of doing life. I've always kind of been more of a dress up girl. I like to dress up. I'm not a big jeans and sneakers person. I wear them, but it's never been like my preferred dress when I go out. And so for me, I really identify a little bit more comfortably with the way that people dress here in Sicily. So let's talk about prosciutto, or as my friends in New Jersey like to say, prosciutto. Bad news, guys. Prosciutto is not the way that prosciutto is pronounced, which is the correct pronunciation. I have been figuring out over the last few months that certain prosciutto I buy taste different than other kinds. And I didn't really know the reason why. Well, one time I got this prosciutto, I loved it. I was really excited about it, and I bought the package with me to the store so I could find the exact same one. So I found out that there are two primary kinds of prosciutto. The first one is called Prosciutto Crudo, and this is the kind that I preferred, and I found out that it's actually raw prosciutto. The second one is Prosciutto Cotto, and Prosciutto Cotto is cooked prosciutto. So it's kind of like sushi. You know, when you go to the sushi place and you're like, I only want to have cooked sushi. I want that fish to be fried or tempura or grilled. Don't give me the raw stuff. Same idea here with the prosciutto. It does change the taste. The taste is genuinely different when you eat prosciutto crudo, which personally I think it has more taste and flavor than prosciutto cotto. But what do you like? Tell me in the comments section, do you pronounce prosciutto as prosciutto? I did growing up, and then I went to Italy in my early 20s, and I was like, why can I not pronounce this word? And what is this word prosciutto? Well, good news for all, it's the same thing. So because I live in a very rural, mountainous area, people have been surprised when I talk about money. I can really go almost anywhere and use my credit card and get points, which is really exciting for me because I travel a lot. The interesting thing about that here is that I can go to the grocery store and buy a head of lettuce, and the head of lettuce is €1 or approximately $1, and I can use my credit card for that. Whereas in the States, sometimes I have to have a minimum purchase of $20 before I can use my credit card. So I tend to use my credit card for super random little things. And when I get the bill at the end of the month, I'm like, oh my gosh, that just wouldn't look that way in the States. Usually my purchases are bigger. So I got a massage done here at a great little place outside of town. I am used to the American version of getting a massage. In the United States, massages are very, very medical in nature. For example, when you walk in, no matter if you're going to a spa, a medical spa, a little place, they're going to give you a clipboard and you have to sign your life away for all kinds of legal purposes, that you're not going to sue them and you have to tell them what's wrong with you, but they're not responsible if they, blah, blah, blah. All kinds of paperwork, and you have to sign it all and basically release them from any responsibility for the massage. With that also comes a lot of legality with something called draping. Draping is a practice in which when you're getting a massage, the parts of your body are completely covered, even if you're not wearing clothing underneath. Well, here in Sicily, in my experience, draping is a little bit different. And what I mean by that is that certain body parts that I am used to being covered throughout the entirety of a 1-hour massage in the United States are definitely exposed. That feels a little weird for me because I'm not used to it, but it's not weird in like a weird way. It's just kind of different than what I'm used to. I can see the possibility of someone who is very insecure with their body or worried about their body or maybe had a difficult experience. It would definitely be very different. Word to the wise is that if you're planning to get a massage in a rural area of Sicily and you're used to draping in a certain way where you may find yourself in a situation where that does not occur. If you're okay with that, as I am, great. If you're not, you may want to forego the full body experience. So I've been invited to several people's homes to enjoy dinner with their families, and I'm so lucky because a lot of my friends who are expats here, they haven't had quite the same experience as I have. It has been very interesting to experience the courses that occur on some random evening at a friend's house with their family. Usually in the United States, when we eat dinner, I put everything on the table at the same time. So let's say I'm having a salad, a meat or a potato, or I made a brownies. All of it goes on the table at once, and everything is kind of eaten at once, all on the same plate. So you get one plate, one fork, one knife, a spoon if you're lucky, and you just kind of eat whatever and you put it all on the same plate. Here in Sicily, I have not had that experience. I'm given a plate for a salad dish, and that happens first, and then I'm given a bowl for the pasta, and then that gets cleared. And then I'm given a meat or a potato or a vegetable all separately on a third plate. And then of course, there's usually dessert on a fourth plate. Sometimes the different courses of plates are paper that can be thrown away, but usually the main course is on their dinner plate, like their china plate or their porcelain plate. You have a lot of courses that stretches out the meal time. Usually the average meal is about an hour and a half. I've been to some people's houses where I forget where I am. And let's say that I'm going to have my meat and my potato and I want to eat a little salad with it. They don't want me to put the salad from the salad course on the same plate as the meat and potatoes. They want to run and get me another plate so that I can keep it separate. And this is just not typical in the United States at all. Also, if I drink a little bit of wine in a wine glass and then I want to put water in the same glass, I'm stopped from doing that. And they prefer to give me a little plastic cup, like a little bit bigger than a Dixie cup, for the water, and then I keep the wine glass only for the wine. So very specific table manners that I'm trying to get used to, but I'm not great at. Probably the hardest thing for me to get used to is the cutlery. Let me demonstrate. Okay, so here I have your average table fork, your average knife, and I also bought this spoon over here for my demonstration. In the United States, if we are eating a soft meat, let's say it is a piece of chicken, and we'll often cut the chicken like this with our fork, and then we'll flip the fork over, jam it into the chicken, and then eat it like this. Got it? Well, here in Italy, you are using your fork and your knife at the same time, which I'm not used to, and it is difficult for me to do. So I'm going to take the fork upside down for me, put it in the chicken, take the knife for every single piece, cut the chicken, and then I'm going to stick the fork in the chicken, and then I'm going to lift it to my mouth upside down for me. I was actually stopped last week at someone's house because I was cutting the chicken, which was delicious. I was cutting the chicken like this, and then I forgot. I've been getting better at flipping the fork, but I went into American mode and jammed the fork in this way. And she was like, "Oh, do you want a knife? Let me get your knife for you." And my knife was on the side of me, and she was like handing me the knife. And like, I was kind of embarrassed, and I felt like a 4-year-old that she was telling me to like eat it properly with my fork. And I just very politely said, "Oh," I said, "I feel more comfortable eating it the way I'm eating it now, if that's okay." I said, "I can try it that way, like I can do it that way." But for me in that moment, I'm already immersed in all Italian and trying to, gather what's being said and, contribute and listen to the conversation. And, the fork thing and the individual thing like this, it's really hard for me. Definitely some executive functioning challenges in my life, which probably made that harder than it might be for another person. But flipping the fork, using the fork individually, hard for me. I don't always realize that how I eat or drink does really look different than my Italian compatriots. Sorry, guys. So I have a friend who is an intense human being, and she's intense if she's drinking a glass of water. Well, I would like to demonstrate now for you how intense it is literally to drink a glass of water in Sicily in the Italian way. So here I have my acqua naturale, okay? Naturale is water with no bubbles. And then if you want acqua frizzante, that is aqua with the bubbles. I really like the taste, but it gives me heartburn, and I don't know why, because it's just water. If I have this glass and I am in Sicily and I am at someone's house and I want some water and I'm really, really thirsty, I haven't drank water all day and I really, really want water. In order not to appear rude, this is how much I'm going to put in the glass. You ready? There you go. That's it. That's all you get on the first round. After you drink that, then you're allowed to pour more water into the glass. But as a rule of thumb, it is extremely rude to pour water in a glass 3/4 of the way full. It's always just a tiny, tiny bit. In America, this would be incredibly weird, and it would also look kind of stingy. Like you don't want your guests to have a lot of water, or you're not pouring yourself enough water to be healthy. So in America, on the first round, and this goes for water, wine, coffee, you name it, you're gonna fill up the whole glass. And then you're gonna drink it, and it's okay not to sip it. You're also allowed to do this in America. So rude here to do that. Don't do it. So as I mentioned earlier, you have a little water cup if you're having a glass with wine, and this is about the size of the water cup. And this is about the size of the coffee cup. When you go to someone's house, they usually give you a little shot of espresso in a coffee cup this size. I've become a bit of an observer of table manners here in Sicily. And in general, people just of every social class, like they just eat more elegantly. 50 years ago, like were people really having 4 plates and, 6 cups and, like, was this a thing? Like, when did this occur? Does anyone know when this concept of every single plate, every single cup having a specific purpose? I'm going to assume that, when my ancestors lived here in Cacamo, that they didn't have all of this cutlery and plates and stuff. So I'm just kind of curious if anyone knows when that evolution occurred and why Americans did not adopt it from most social classes. So I would like to discuss staring. Just kidding. I would like to discuss staring. This is definitely something that's very different for me and something I'm not used to. In the United States, where I happen to live, people in general are very, very stoic and reserved. This includes men and women and how they relate to each other in the street. Here, the fine art of staring at someone walking down the street, especially men and women, it is jarring for me as an American to be watched. I love my new courtyard apartment. And when I say courtyard apartment, I mean like I'm on a literal courtyard in a medieval village. The one thing that is not as fun for me is that I kind of feel like I'm living in a fishbowl. So living in the courtyard of this medieval town, people watch you everywhere you go. If you stand on your balcony, they watch you. If you're leaving the house through the front door, they watch you. If you're taking your scooter down the street, they're definitely watching you because no one else has an electric scooter in the town, minus a couple of little kids who drive them around, like little ones. I'm kind of it on the scooter, in the town. In the United States, I don't think that people are as curious about what you're doing, where you're going, how you're getting there, what you're wearing. But here, I do feel like there is a lot of just watching of each other, genuinely curiosity about the other people on the street, especially the older ladies. The ladies will literally, you don't even hardly need a police department here because the old ladies, they watch on their stoops everything. They're watching everyone do everything. They know when you left, they know when you come back, they know who's in your house, they know it all. And they're kind of like the free police. I'd like to talk about what it means to really respect someone's memory who's passed on here. Well, I get together with a group of Italian ladies, and some of them are widowed or divorced, have loved ones who have passed on. I'm very surprised at some of their conscious decisions that they make in respecting that person who passed on's memory. For example, some people will wear the color black all the time when they go out because they're respecting the memory of that loved one. I think for the older people, it's a little bit more stringent, but for people in my age group or younger, it's a little bit more by interpretation. Here, there is just a greater respect for memory and the visualization of that. People are just more conscious of preserving someone's memory who passed on before them. And they'll even deny themselves things that they love in order to preserve that person's memory. Sorry, that's a kind of a morbid ending thought, but that is kind of how I think here. That's where my mind goes here, because being immersed in this kind of antiquity and immersed in a culture that often thinks about death and about resurrection and of Christianity and thinking about life and the afterlife with purpose far more than what we do in the States. I think that that is a beautiful thing. And it's something that I am rethinking in my own life, as is evidenced by some of my videos recently. If you're curious about some of the saint videos, festas, and parades related to the Catholic Church, you can check them out in the link below. And if you're curious about some of the culture shock that I've experienced after being here for a while, I'll put that video in the comments section too. If you haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to send me a comment. I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts on this video, your opinions, how you view the topics that I've discussed in this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. There is prosciutto crudo, which is uncooked prosciutto. New Jersey just fell out of my mouth, sorry. Let me try that again. Prosciutto Cotto is cooked prosciutto. Sorry, I was born and raised in New Jersey, and so I keep forgetting that it's not prosciutto. Prosciutto. Okay, take 3.